Venezuela claiming the U.S. is behind a coup attempt after our State Department rejected Nicolas Maduro as the winner of their election. Another opposition leader now revealing she can prove that Maduro lost in a landslide. In a new op-ed, she says she's writing from hiding and that she's fearing for her life. Joining us with reaction is Executive Director at the Center for a Free and Secure Society, Joseph Humeyer. Joseph, so great to have you on. So we tried to have Maria Corina Machado on this morning. She fears for her life. She's in hiding. Obviously, we couldn't get her on. So we got you on, Joseph, because we couldn't get her on. But this is a remarkable situation. For those who don't know, she tried to run. She was what they called trumped in Latin America. She was prevented from being on the ballot and banned from running for 15 years. She supported the next candidate, and they won. So now what's going to happen in Venezuela? What do you expect?
Yeah, Maria, that's a great question. Yeah, she was trumped in the election.
Yeah.
They basically tried everything they can, not just to bar for her from the election, but any candidate that she chose. She chose another candidate before we actually got the candidate, Mundo Gonzalez. So this wasn't a free and fair election in any measure whatsoever, but we got to the election. And the election result was pretty much what everybody in Latin America knows about, which was the biggest electoral fraud probably in the history of Latin America, at least in modern times. I mean, usually when we think of electoral fraud, we're thinking about 10,000 ballots here, 100,000 ballots there, fake ballots, manipulation of electoral machines. And Venezuela has done that in the past. But this time, it was just flat out arbitrary, just fraud. They wrote a number, they made up a number. The number that Maduro purports is 51-44 that he won. But that number, they can't back it up. There is no math that gets you to that number. And so the problem that Maduro has right now is he can't legitimize that number. He has shown no evidence of that. However, Maria Corina has. The real number, which is 60, I think 67, 68 to 30, a landslide victory for Mundo Gonzalez. She actually did a very ingenious, like a very creative technique of using a civil society movement to verify the votes, scan the ballots, get them on a server outside the country, and has shown this evidence to the public. But the lesson here, I think for everybody, any democracy in the world, especially the United States, the lesson here is what Stalin once said: it's not who votes that counts, but who counts the votes. Yes. And now everything is thrown over to the Electoral Council, and the more time you give them, the more they're going to be able to manipulate, try to legitimize the fraud.
Well, the list of countries that are acknowledging the opposition win, Edmundo, is growing. I mean, here's the list of countries. It'll be interesting to see what this dictator does. Clearly, he's also said that he's called for the arrest of her and the other candidate, and so we'll see what happens, but this cannot stand. By the way, this weekend, a secret deal revealed that the U.S. had a secret deal with the Maduro dictatorship that they did, I guess, in Qatar. What can you tell us about that?
Yeah, so this is very important because a lot of people that are Venezuela watchers, they always point to something called the Barbados Agreement, which is an agreement agreed to in 2022 that basically was an agreement between the Venezuelan opposition and Maduro that said we're going to try to have these conditions that are going to take us to an election. And everyone said that Maduro violated the Barbados Agreement because he has, and that basically that this election wasn't going to be free nor fair. But the real agreement, the real deal, was cut in secret. And it wasn't cut with the Venezuelan opposition. It was cut between the Biden-Harris administration and Nicolas Maduro regime, and it was done in secret in Doha, Qatar. And we know that Qatar loves to mediate one-sided deals for autocrats, as they've done for Iran and Hamas over recent memory. But what really happened here is we don't know what the Biden-Harris administration has agreed to with Maduro. We don't know if they agreed to say, look, steal the election, we'll be able to just legitimize it and lift sanctions. We don't know if they said, hey, listen, we're going to release Alex Saab and we're going to release these other prisoners and these prisoner swaps as long as you get us to an election. So we don't know what's really going on. And this is a problem for Maria Corina. Maria Corina, the State Department has always tried to remove Maria Corina from the equation. They always preferred other fake opposition candidates. She was able to push through that to win her primary by 93%. And what I argue is that Maria Corina doesn't right now just need to resist Nicolas Maduro. She doesn't necessarily need to outlast Nicolas Maduro. She probably just needs to outlast the Biden-Harris administration, because if President Trump comes back to the White House, reinforcements will be coming.
It's just a fascinating situation. She's probably the bravest woman in politics
Absolutely.
today. So many parallels to what is happening in our country as well. So thanks for joining us, Joseph. We're going to continue to follow this and bring you on as this whole saga unfolds and as the Venezuelan people fight for their freedom. Thank you, Joseph.
Absolutely. Thank you, Rachel.
You got it. Kamala Harris narrowing down her VP pick, and signs seem to point to Governor Josh Shapiro. So is it him? Progressives are hoping no. That's next.